Greetings. Welcome to the Bears Gym. We are in the book of Mark today, chapter 7. Very, very enlightening book. The things that the Lord put up with in the early first century. And things that we see prevalent today, here in the 21st century. So here we go, Mark 7. Then came together unto him the Pharisees and certain of the scribes, which came from Jerusalem. When they saw some of his disciples eat bread with defiled, that is to say, with unwashen hands, they found fault. For the Pharisees and all the Jews, except they wash their hands oft, eat not, holding the tradition of the elders. And when they come from the market, except they wash, they eat not. And many other things there be, which they have received to hold, as the washing of cups and pots and brazen vessels and of tables. Then the Pharisees and the scribes asked him, Why walk not thy disciples according to the tradition of the elders, but eat bread with unwashen hands? It's kind of interesting. They were really into religion and legalism. You know, it's many of the isms today, it's very meaningful that they bob up and down 3 times a day, 5 times a day, whatever it is. But their own personal lives are filled with deceit, lust, envy, hatred, malice. Does them no good. Because it's not truth. It's falsehood. They serve a false God. And Jesus Christ, he sets you free. You are free indeed in Jesus Christ. And one of the things he came to be a combatant upon was their stale and false religiousness. God said, enter into my Sabbath rest. If you don't enter into Jesus Christ, you don't really enter into the Sabbath rest, because he is rest. When you enter into his rest, take my yoke upon you and learn from me, Jesus said. Okay? And you'll have rest for your souls. Basically, that's a summary. Rest. These religious today, you look in Israel, you have the Zionists, you have the religious practitioners in Israel practicing Judaism. You have some of the New Testament church trying to claim they keep the law. And yet they'll go out on Saturday for a hamburger, stop at the gas station, get gas, go on a trip on Saturday evening from the airport, fire up their car and go driving around the neighborhood, stop at snack stores, convenience, antique shops, so forth. And then they come down on people and say, well, you didn't keep the Sabbath's on a Saturday. You know. Jesus came hard upon the religious Pharisees. He said many times he was ready to do a good deed on the Sabbath, and they were there ready to judge him because, he broke the Sabbath. Jesus said, is it sin to do good on the Sabbath? Jesus said, it's good to do good on the Sabbath. Verse 6. He answered and said unto them, Well hath Isaiah the prophet prophesied of you hypocrites. We don't say that much in these days. Everything is like, he said that word, we've got to string them up. No, Jesus called them hypocrites. As it is written, this people honoreth me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. Unfortunately, that's much of Christendom and the church at large. A lot of spiel coming out their pie holes, but little love for Jesus Christ in here. Howbeit in vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. For laying aside the commandment of God, ye hold the tradition of men as the washing of pots and cups, and many other such things like ye do. He said unto them, full well ye reject the commandment of God, that you may keep your own tradition. For Moses said, honor thy father and thy mother, and whoso curseth father or mother, let him die the death. Cursing father and mother in the Old Testament, even in the New Testament, as we see here, was a capital punishment crime. As they knew, a rebellious child that would curse their parents as lie into witchcraft. And the sin of rebellion is that's witchcraft. But the Pharisees and Sadducees, they had a different take and look upon it. For they said, if a man say to his father or mother, it is korban, to say, it's a gift by whatsoever thou mightest be profited by me, he shall be free, and ye suffer him no more to do aught for his father or his mother, making the word of God of none effect through your tradition which you had delivered, and many such things like do ye. Now what did he just say? Basically this. We don't really care. I'm quoting the Pharisees. I'll say they, lest some of you misunderstand me. You need to honor your mother and your father. That is one of the 10 commandments, where absolutely there's no guidelines, like cursing God or murder or adultery or bearing false witness. Those are cardinal sins, as you would put it. They are cursing you from God. They are separating you from God. Those are huge sins. And basically he's saying these people are not allowed to help support their parents financially because the Pharisees and Sadducees say, no, you need to give it to us because God wills it. No, you need to take care of your parents first. And the church buildings and the air-conditioned pastor's chambers second. Take care of your mother and father first. And when he had called all the people unto him, he said unto them, hearken unto me, every one of you, and understand. There is nothing from without a man that entering into him can defile him. But the things which come out of him, those are they that defile the man. If any man has ears to hear, let him hear. My New American Standard places in there that some of the manuscripts declare that Jesus declared all foods clean. And then you would have the rabbinical and the Zionist and law-keeping, so to speak, I'll say that, law-keeping church, well-meaning church folk, let's leave it like that. You know, that we don't eat pork and we don't eat, this and that, we don't eat rabbit. The whole point in the Old Testament of the law was to show the Israelites a picture of sin. Jesus declared nothing can defile you. It's simple. It's kind of like saying, don't commit murder, don't commit adultery. He declared that nothing can defile you when you eat it. Pork, rabbit, beef, nothing can defile you because that doesn't defile, it goes in your tummy. What defiles you is what's in your heart and comes out your mouth. Later on, the Apostle Peter, in the book of Acts, Peter has the same problem. I don't hang around Gentiles, I don't eat pork, I don't eat these certain things. God says, what I've cleansed, don't you call unclean. Very clear, folks. You pray over your food. Give God the blessing for it. Be assured it's clean. If any man have ears to hear, let him hear. And when he was entered into the house from the people, his disciples asked him concerning the parable. And he saith unto them, Are ye so without understanding also? Do ye not perceive that whatsoever thing from without entereth into the man, it cannot defile him? Because it entereth not into his heart, but into the belly, and goeth out into the draught, purging all meats. He said, That's which come out of the man, that doesn't defile the man. For from within, your foods, no. It's from within that defiles you. From within, verse 21, proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornication, murders, thefts, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lasciviousness, an evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. All these evil things come from within and defile the man. That's what defiles a man. Liars. Those that sow strife amongst brethren, brothers, sisters, church members. They sow strife. They pit one against the other, spreading lies, false accusations, blasphemies, cursing God, using his name irreverently. Sensualities, deceit, wickedness, covetousness, thefts, adulteries, fornications, murders. Those from within, those are what defile you. Not your pork chop or your bratwurst. And from thence he arose and went into the borders of Tyre and Sidon, and entered into an house, and would have no man know it, but he could not be hid. For a certain woman, whose young daughter had an unclean spirit, heard of him, and came and fell at his feet. The woman was a Greek, a Syrophoenician by nation, and she besought him that he would cast forth the devil out of her daughter. But Jesus said unto her, Let the children first be filled, for it is not meet to take the children's bread and to cast it unto the dogs. She answered and said unto him, Yes, Lord. Yet the dogs under the table eat of the children's crumbs. And he said unto her, For this saying go thy way, the devil is gone out of thy daughter. And when she was come to her house, she found the devil gone out of her daughter, and her daughter laying on the bed. Jesus didn't need to put his hand on the child and push her backwards, blow on her. He didn't need to do that. Sometimes he laid his hands on people. Sometimes he spat, made mud, anointed their eyes. He didn't need to do that. It was for the good of the little folk. Sometimes us little folk, I'll include myself, we need a little something to help us cling to. But God don't need it. He can just do it. He just does things if he wants. Again, departing from the coast of Tyre and Sidon, he came into the Sea of Galilee through the midst of the coasts of Decapolis. And they bring unto him one that was deaf and had an impediment in his speech. And they besought him to put his hand upon him. And he took him aside from the multitude and put his fingers into his ears, and he spit and touched his tongue. And looking up to heaven, he sighed and saith unto him, Ephphatha, that is, be opened. And straightway his ears were open, and the string of his tongue was loosed. And he spake plain. This man needed a little something extra. Jesus put his fingers in his ears. He spit and touched his tongue. That man needed something, a little something extra, to know that the Lord was touching him. The woman with the demon-possessed daughter, she didn't need that. She had great faith that the Lord would do that for her. And he charged them that they should tell no man. But the more he charged them, so much the more a great deal they published it. And were beyond measure astonished, saying, He hath done all things well, and he maketh both the deaf to hear and the dumb to speak. That's wonderful. That's a wonderful chapter, friends. Mark chapter 7, I think we did very well. I hope I didn't climb on to the soapbox and chew the flab too much for you. But I hope you learned something. I hope I learned something. I think I did learn things. Beautiful things. The way God teaches us. The more you read the Word of God, the more He teaches you. It's kind of like, I hate to use too many Bears Gym principles. The more you lift weights, the more you get used to lifting weights. You just do. You get more conditioning is better, your strength is better, you know how to do the exercise, the movement as well. The more you do it, the more you learn. So the more you read the Word of God, with an open heart, say, God, show me, teach me. Help me to listen. God will show you. So from the Bears Gym, I hope you've enjoyed, and I've enjoyed my time with you. God bless from the Bears Gym. See you next time.